Testing.
I'll try not to project. Testing, testing. Okay, testing.
regular meeting, January 8th, 2025. Announcements. All open sessions of the Board of Trustees are recorded and streamed in real time at www.fuhsd.net. I want to call the order at 4:30 at Fallbrook Union High School, Library, 2400 South Stagecoach Lane, Fallbrook, California, 92028. Announcements for the closed agenda. Public employment, discipline, dismissal, and release, Government Code Section 54957. Conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9D1. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2. Conference with labor negotiations, Government Code Section 54957.6. District Negotiator Ilsa Garza Gonzalez, Superintendent. Employee organizations, FHSPA and SEIU. Unrepresented employees, classified management, certificated management, and confidential employees. Student discipline. Expulsion recommendation case number 03F2425. Opportunity for members of the public to address the board on any item described in this agenda for the closed session. Opportunity will be granted for open session items. Government Code Section 54954.3. Do we have any comments?
We do not.
If we do not have any comments, we will move on to the closed session. Thank you. afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to reconvene to open session at 5:30. Announcement. All open sessions of the Board of Trustees are recorded and streamed in real time at www.fuhsd.net. We'll begin our meeting with the flag salute. Can everybody please stand? Ready? Begin. Thank you. Roll call. Board of Trustees. Oscar Caralampio, President. Present. Eddie Jones, Vice President.
Present.
Tona Rodarte, Clerk.
Present.
Paul Christensen, Trustee.
Present.
Chris Haskell, Trustee. Couldn't make it today. Ava Rice, Student Board Representative. Ms. Kara Hart.
Present.
And Ms. AJ Sabina.
Present.
Thank you. Our Superintendent, Ilsa Garza Gonzalez.
Present.
Awesome. Informal review of governing teams norms. The Board of Trustees approved norms are that we be respectful, be approachable, be open-minded, be communicative with no surprises, be willing to listen, be prepared, and be trustworthy. Report from closed agenda. Public employment discipline, dismissal and release, Government Codes Section 54957, nothing to report. Conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9D1, nothing to report. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, nothing to report. Conference with labor negotiations, Government Code Section 54957.6, nothing to report. District Negotiator Itza Garza Gonzalez, Superintendent. Employee organizations, FHSTA and SEIU. Unrepresented employees, classified management, certificated management, and confidential employees, nothing to report. Next, we have a student discipline. Expulsion recommendation case number 03F2425. Nothing to report at this moment. This is an action item, so we'll take the vote at a later time. We will now adopt the agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move that the board adopt the agenda for the regular meeting of January 8th, 2025 as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any additions, deletions, corrections?
No.
Okay, so we will move on to the vote. Ms. Rice, not here. Ms. Hart.
Aye.
Ms. Sabina.
Aye.
Board members, Caralampio says aye. Mr. Christensen.
Aye.
Mr. Haskell is absent. Mr. Jones.
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte.
Aye.
Presentations. We will now begin with the presentation on an annual and 5-year developer fee report by Doug Floyd, Coppell, and Gruber Public Finance. This is a time to ask questions after the presentation.
Hi, good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Garza Gonzalez, District Cabinet. Again, my name is Doug Floyd. I'm representing the firm Coppell and Gruber Public Finance. This presentation introduces action item B2 of the agenda, which is consideration to adopt an annual and 5-year developer fee report. This is a routine item that is presented to the board each year, and it's related to school fees that the district currently collects. The district collects level 1 statutory fees on new residential and commercial construction. These are one-time fees that are collected prior to the construction of either new housing or new commercial industrial projects. And the revenues from these fees can then be used to provide for school facilities to accommodate for those projects. As a condition of the receipt of these fees, the district must make available certain information to the public each year, including the amount of fees collected, any interest earnings that have been earned in the developer fee account, which is Fund 25, and information related to the expenditure of the fees. Every 5th year, or at least every 5th year, the district must make additional findings and specifically how the district intends to use any unspent fees within the Fund 25 account. Most districts, however, include the 5-year findings in their report each year, so thus why it's called an annual and 5-year developer fee report. And new legislation that was enacted just this past year in 2024 added additional requirements to the reporting, including a look back at the previous report to determine whether or not the district commenced projects as planned and as identified in that report. So when I provide some highlights, I'll go into those details. Our firm, as well as the district's legal counsel, Danis Welliver-Kelly, assisted the district with the report that's provided in your packet, and this report has been made available to the public since December 20th, which is required by law to have the report available for public review at least 15 days prior to this public hearing, or this board meeting. Adoption of this item just facilitates compliance with state law. So to give you a few highlights, again, I mentioned developer fees are deposited and accounted for in Fund 25. At the beginning of the 23-24 year, there was a beginning balance of $3.3 million approximately. The district within the last fiscal year collected about $450,000 in developer fees. It earned around $170,000 in interest earnings and investment gains, and the district spent about $1.2 million on school facilities projects, leaving a balance in the account of approximately $2.7 million. The report also provides that the 5-year findings, which the district plans to use the unspent fees, or the fees in the account, for new relocatables at the Fallbrook High School, as well as facilities improvements, classrooms, restrooms related to the agricultural program. We did obviously address the additional requirement that was enacted in 2024. There was one project presented in last year's report that was the agricultural program, and the report indicated that would commence by 2024, and it in fact commenced last year. So with that, I will open it up to any questions related to the report or the process for adoption.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm a relatively new board member, so this is maybe a really dumb questions, but the fees amount, are those set by state? Are they set by counties? How are those determined?
Sure. So there's a maximum fee that districts can charge, and that is set by statute by state law. But in even numbered years, the state allocation board can adjust that fee cap based on inflation. So they use a construction cost index, and then they apply that to the maximum fee. So every other year that fee increases. Now for an individual district to collect that fee amount, they have to go through a fee justification process. And so we're actually working with the district to update the fee justification study, and we'll hopefully present that report this year that will possibly bring that fee level to a higher amount.
And do you know off the top of your head what that maximum fee is by statute?
So for unified districts, it's $5.17 per square foot for residential construction, and 84 cents per square foot for commercial industrial construction. As a union district, you have to split that amount with the elementary district. So I don't have that number off the top of my head what that fee split is. But I will say the last time that the district prepared a fee justification study was in 2016. So, based on the every other year increases, it's probably in the $1.50 range at this point.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Next, we have a fall sports recap by Mr. Pat Walker, Athletic Director.
Okay, thank you so much to our superintendent and the board for allowing me to celebrate fall athletics. It's always fun. So here we go. Volleyball, such a special group. These are those 4 freshman girls who are now sophomores who took us to almost to the state championship in basketball. One of the most athletic, and they're just grinders. So they had an overall record of 20-13. Again, mostly sophomores starting. 7-3 in league play, 2 first-team all-league selections. They were seeded number 7 in Division II playoffs, and they lost in that first round. Their team GPA was 3.12. And Madison McComas, the coach on the far right, this was her first year, and she is phenomenal. She's going to really do a lot of great things here in Fallbrook. She wants to stay. She wants to build a feeder program. Volleyball is interesting. Club volleyball, we have to go to San Marcos and Temecula, and we really have never had anything in Fallbrook, and she's going to do that. So it's pretty exciting what she's doing with volleyball. Field hockey, they were 9-12 overall. Melissa Palmer took over the program this year, which is nice to have an on-campus coach. I basically recruited her 6 years ago to coach field hockey. To get her back was great, and she just had a great time with the kids, and she's, again, rebuilding. They were seeded 9th in the D1 CIF playoffs. They lost a really tough game down at Mount Carmel. They had 2 first-team all-league selections and 2 second-team all-league selections, and their team GPA was 3.51. Water polo, young, super competitive. A lot of sophomores started. They were overall 8-16. They had 1 first-team all-league selection. Team GPA was 3.28, and they qualified for the first round of CIF. Tennis was 9-6 overall. They were 7-3 in league. They qualified for the D3 playoffs and lost in the first round to the eventual D3 CIF champion. Ashlyn Trujillo qualified for individual CIF singles, and Emily Carroll and Nat Guadalupe qualified for CIF doubles, and their team GPA was 3.55. Cross country, boys. They had 4 runners run at CIF, 12 runners ran in the league finals. All 4 runners at CIF ran their personal best time. Boys and the girls always competing with GPA in cross country. It's really funny. But their team GPA was 3.38. Girls finished 11 in CIF, had 2 second-team all-league selections, and their team GPA was 3.59. Golf, this is a program that I'm really working on getting more kids out with Medlock. I'm trying to get him to run lunch meetings. They only had 3 golfers last year, so they're up to 7 this year, which is great. And it was very much still a developmental season. They showed a lot of growth. All the girls improved, and they did score their personal best over their 9 holes. Team GPA was 3.27. Football, obviously, it's a very challenging season for Coach Johnson, and we did have one of the toughest schedules in San Diego. They had 2 first-team all-league selections, 3 second-team all-league selections, and they were seeded 5 in the D5 CIF playoffs. An interesting new playoff system with CIF, and we competed. We lost literally in the last quarter. It was a big deal for me as an athletic director to see a team that was 0-9 going into Mount Carmel, who was a very good team. and almost beating them, watching them compete, not give up. And that's where I'm going to say that Coach Johnson really had the kids still fighting till the very end. And we all know going 0-10 is no fun. Their team GPA was 3.30. So we were losing Coach Johnson, and I got all of the returning football players together in a room, and I had them fill out, what do you guys want to see in a coach? What's leadership to you guys? This is their words, which was kind of fun to read. Passionate. They want to see the ability to lead us. Create a program with discipline, and I really liked that. They want it. They want boundaries. Relatable was really good. Present, and there's my pitch to have an on-campus coach, which is a really important thing, especially for football. Knowledgeable, and this is their words, we want to work as a family. I thought that was the coolest thing, just to hear them say that. It was good for me to be in the room with them. I don't know all of them. We connected, and I told them that I'm going to work really hard to get you the best head coach possible that's going to connect with you guys. And I've hired some great coaches, but they last 3 years. I need this next one to stick around for a while. It's important for growth. And we do have a lot of 7th and 8th graders coming up that are really solid kids, got some good coaches that have been with those kids. So the feeder coming in is still healthy, even though Pop Warner is a disaster up there. These kids are playing in Vista, and we need them to come to Fallbrook. And so I've talked to those coaches, and it's just really important for us, again, to hire somebody that's going to get in the community, get out in Pop Warner, restore that. And Ilse knows I have some tremendous candidates. It's the best pool of football coaches I've ever had in doing this for almost 20 years. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully do interviews at the end of January. Yeah, so that's fall sports. Any questions for me?
I just wanted to say that I hadn't noticed, but for the fall sports, except for volleyball, they are all coaches that teach with us as well.
Yeah, and you
Not
could almost call Sean Redman an on-campus coach. You know what I mean? He's right.
Is that coaching, is that made public?
So it's been on EdJoin. I got it on a bunch of sites.
Okay.
It was a lot of my connections in Orange County that have really helped. Again, I told Ilse this also. I think Emily was mad at me. I did a lot of work over the break just trying to get the word out and, get in coaches' ears who I knew had some great contacts. And it really helped because that second week of the break, the conversations that I had with some really quality guys and who are going to come to Fallbrook.
I only ask because I have I don't know him, I wouldn't promote him because I just know he's asked about the coaching position, so I'll have him reach out to you. He's local, but
Yeah.
he works for Tri-City, I believe.
It's going to, yes.
But he wants to work here, so
Yeah.
he was just asking what that process was and when it was open. I didn't know, so.
I have one from Tri-City that is actually going to be
Okay.
interviewing, yeah.
It's probably him.
Yep. It'll close on Friday. That's what I'm pushing.
Okay. I'll pass it along
Yeah.
if he hasn't already.
Yeah.
And I assume this is like a part-time after-school type position that's not all day long, or how does that work?
Are you talking about the head football coaching job? So right now, do you want to answer this in regards to the
Sure.
teaching
So,
piece? Yeah.
When we say walk-on coaches, that is a coach that is not teaching for us. At this time, we don't have any positions available that are open. Normally, what happens what has happened in the past with football is the coach has left the school, which creates an opening. So at this time, it's being flown strictly as a coaching position. And then as we know more about vacancies and enrollment in the spring, there may be a teaching position tied to that because the football coach actually teaches 2 periods of
Yes.
football
Yeah.
during the school day. So it is very important that that they have that credential and that they're able to do that. It's a little bit more difficult, especially for football, when they're a walk-on coach, because then somebody else is teaching those classes for you, and it may not be the way you would want to run those practices.
The connection too, with the kids.
Maybe we can borrow some coaches from other schools and lure them.
I'm trying.
There you go. How about it?
Thanks for the presentation. I just kind of want to back up some of the things you talked about. I went to several of the football games, and I can tell you the effort, the engagement that I saw from players wasn't reflected in their win-loss record. So I really appreciate all those games. Well, the games I saw were close. They were competitive. Didn't reflect what their wins and losses were. So tough losses, but they were there all the way through it and didn't give up. I'm looking at your. I also want to just say, really appreciate you sitting down and talking to the football students about football players about what they're looking for in a coach. I'm looking at the list, the slide you have here, and you can take away the word coach and you could just put CEO or any team leader, and it's the exact same thing. So we do sports for a lot of reasons, but a lot of it is individual growth, and that's what we're seeing here. So thank you. So good job, Emily.
I also really do like the fact that you track the GPA, because that's one of the things when my kids were little, and all my kids did sports, different types of sports, was it's great to be into athletics or whatever you're into, but part of life is finding balance in life. And you need to balance your academics, and you need to balance your sports and your friends and your family and whatever else you have going. And so the fact that we're not just recognizing them as athletes, we're also recognizing them that they're all doing a good job maintaining their grades, which I think is really
I am a super proud athletic director. I really am. I am so blessed to be a part of this. The coaches that I've had working under me, and just the mentoring of some of my younger coaches, super blessed to be able to be part of that. And of course, the student athletes are just a joy.
Yes, all of our students are impressive, but I've been working with some of our student athletes in my superintendent's advisory council. We actually have a meeting tomorrow where we're going to finalize. They have been putting together the structure for a athletic advisory council since CIF has started one like that, and they're kind of telling me what they want. And I was very impressed that one of the mottos or slogans that they're suggesting is putting student in student athlete, which again focuses on the academics. And then another group said integrity, courage, academics. So every one of these groups, even though they're focused on the sports, is really highlighting the academic piece, which is reflective again of the GPAs.
Students just can blow your mind. When I had all those kids together, I was reading through, and I could not believe some of the things that they were writing. Gave them to Steve Martinez, and he was the same way. He's like, wow, that was powerful. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Quick questions. What is the athletic department's mission statement, vision, and how do you communicate that with your coaches?
I don't have the exact verbiage for our mission statement. I don't. But it's high academic standards for kids, very much stressed. And for the coaches, it's character development. That's what I push in my coaches' meetings, is that, we're not about wins. This is about development, and these kids are watching you, and mentorship. So those are the two big things. And I do want to go see if I even have a mission statement, to be honest with you. But if I do, I'll put those in there somewhere, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We good? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. Next, we have public comments. The Fallbrook Union High School District Board of Education encourages and invites the public to comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Per legislation 1292, the board will give twice the allotted time to a member of the public who utilizes translating technology assistance to address the board. Total public input on any one subject will be limited to 20 minutes and may be extended at the discretion of the board president. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard at this time. Comments on an agenda item may be taken at this time or when the agenda item is discussed by the board. Speakers will be called in order by topic and when the card is submitted. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Next, we have communications and reports. Report from student board representatives.
Good evening. I would like to start by congratulating Katie Youngren, who was Oasis's December Student of the Month. She was nominated by her teacher, Jack Fresca, for her outstanding academics and dedication to the FHS field hockey team. Moreover, this Monday marked the first day of the second semester for Oasis High School. Students are returning to their normal schedules and are once again meeting with their teachers on a weekly basis. Of course, this time of year is especially exciting for seniors as they are on a steadfast path to graduation. To ensure seniors are prepared for this milestone, the Oasis staff is regularly meeting with students to discuss credits, community service hours, and FAFSA completion. Service hours are an especially important requirement, and seniors are reminded that their hours are not only necessary for graduation, but that they also need to be submitted before they purchase tickets to senior events like prom and grad night. In other news, there are 2 new assets programs that were added to Ivy High School that Oasis students are welcome to attend. The first program teaches students how to home garden and cook delicious meals, and the second teaches students how to earn, save, and manage their money. These are exciting opportunities that our students can greatly benefit from. Other than that, I have nothing to report. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is AJ. This Monday, January 6th, was the first day back for students at Ivy. This week is the first week back from winter break, and students are making adjustments and getting back into their structured schedules. Students may initially have a lack of focus coming back, but teachers will adapt and gradually rebuild engagement. Teachers are incorporating strategies into their routine to ease students back into the classroom. The transition back from break can be a challenging one, and students are encouraged to speak to our counselors for support, as communication between student body and staff is extremely important, as well as communication with families. Chronic absenteeism still remains a key issue and a top priority, and families will continue to receive notifications and updates about their students' attendance. And as a community, we will continue implementing strategies and share further information about attendance and progress in certain areas in upcoming meetings.
Thank you and welcome. Next, we have report from principals.
Hi, Happy New Year's. My 2 board representatives are so efficient that they've covered a lot of what we have to do or cover since our last meeting just a few weeks ago, but I'll just highlight a few things that we do have upcoming, including some opportunities for both schools. So we are approaching the progress reporting period for trimester 2. This is about also the time where we start meeting with seniors, as AJ and Kira mentioned, and really put that focus on graduation. As a matter of fact, I'll be meeting with all the seniors for Ivy tomorrow, just as a general reminder about credits, academic discipline, and just making sure that we have a plan to ensure that every student crosses that stage on time. Additionally, yesterday we welcomed our first official Bonsall student from our MOU in partnership with that school district, and just in the one day that student has been there, we've already had 2 more calls from Bonsall about kids. They're like, hey, I heard somebody's come up there and I want to go too. So I am sure once those students get to see a lot of the amazing things that we have happening at Ivy, we'll be able to extend more of those opportunities for our Bonsall family down the road. In terms of other things that are coming up, we have a school-wide field trip to Miracosta College and CTI on the 23rd. So the school will be divided in half and visit one of those 2 facilities and then switch. It was a really great opportunity for our students. Again, we do this every year for our students in part because we have a lot of fluidity between the 2 school populations, and just also to reinforce the concept of what options our kids have on a post-secondary level. Sometimes our sophomores or juniors aren't thinking about college necessarily or about post-secondary opportunities, so we're hoping by the more that they're exposed, the more that they're going to be considering those options. Our amazing CEI community, including a number of the people in this room, is going to be meeting tomorrow to continue our preparations around chronic absenteeism in preparation for our next in-person conference in Ontario. So we're continuing that work tomorrow. Additionally, we're going to be hosting at Ivy a college and career fair on February 6th. So what that looks like is we start the day with expert breakout sessions from different members of our community and different career pathways. There'll be a general presentation from a chosen career path, which students have selected. And then there'll be a question and answer session followed by a general college and career fair during our lunchtime. So it worked out and was a great opportunity last year, and we're excited to expand that opportunity and bring more of our community partners onto campus. Additionally, we are working with the district to host a parent workshop on February 2nd on drug awareness and prevention for our parents. So it'll be a parent workshop. It's going to be held in conjunction with TURN and Fallbrook Regional Health District. So I think it's a very important and timely issue, and a lot of our parents are coming to us with questions that we want to make sure they're getting the right information from the right community resources. Kira covered a lot of what's going on with OASIS, so great job as always, Kira. But we have started a new semester. We continue to see a consistent demand for independent study. It seems to grow a little bit gradually every month or every few weeks, and we're doing everything we can to accommodate that ongoing demand because we know the value of independent study. And as Kira also mentioned, we're really just making an extra effort to help engage OASIS students in independent study with opportunities for in-person activities on our campuses. So we're extending some of those new assets programs that Kira mentioned to our OASIS students. Our field trips are open to our OASIS students, but we want to have opportunities to bring them in and connect in person when those opportunities exist. Any questions that you might have for me? All right.
Thank you for the presentation.
Of course.
For the student who's coming from Bonzo, that's self-transportation, right?
Yes,
Okay.
for this
And-
particular student.
Yeah. Oh, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to clarify that. There you go.
If there were a transportation issue, that's something we would work out in conjunction with Bonsal's transportation department.
And it's my understanding they're doing the online program, or are they?
No, they're in person at Ivy. Mm-hmm. The Bonsall does not. This is an MOU we approved earlier this year. Bonsall doesn't have a continuation option. They only have an independent study program. They do have their own independent study program, but we also know independent study can be very challenging for kids who are already struggling academically. So that's part of, they came to us as a need, and we wanted to fulfill and give that opportunity to both districts. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. All right, Happy New Year. We've got a few upcoming things. I think I mentioned them in December, but it feels like it was about, 5, 12, 18 weeks ago. So I'm going to mention them again, and then a few more things that have come up that are being offered to our students and families, both here and also with some of the work that we're doing with Potter to join forces a little bit with our FUESD neighbors. Midterm of our second trimester is actually next week, so Monday marks the end of that 6-week period of time at the end of the trimester, so grades will be due and puts us directly at the halfway point in trimester 2. So aligns pretty well with the turn into 2025 on our end. Our counseling team is working actually with Ivy and Oasis as well to work on a FAFSA night that would be open to parents from any of the schools. Come with your student, bring your materials with you. Counselors will sit and actually guide families through the FAFSA process. That's January 28th. Our freshman welcome or Future Warrior Day is happening on January 29th as well. So we've got a lot going on in that couple-week period of time, but that's the day where we bring Potter here. They have a chance to look at our programming, especially our CTE programming, as that's the programming that is least familiar to a lot of our students coming in. They kind of have a general awareness of academic programming. They tend to have a lot of questions about things that are more related to programs outside of the core curriculum. So our AP and IB pathways, being a part of AVID. They have AVID in 8th grade, but it's answering questions about what AVID looks like for a high school student, what the intention is. And then, of course, some of that exposure to actually being in the places where students are doing some of that CTE work. So that's the 29th, that evening. ASB has taken on our kind of welcome night. We're expanding it a little bit, so it's not just intended for incoming 8th grade, new 9th grade families, but really to increase the focus as a community-wide event. So we're hoping that even before 8th grade, families in the community would join us on campus. We're calling it Warrior Winterfest. So they're bringing in some snow, and we're going to have some food trucks available and making it more of a community-focused event with families in mind. So especially those who maybe still have children in elementary school but are considering kind of what the trajectory is looking like K to 12, that they might join us just to look around campus and see what's happening here. That's the 29th as well, yeah. So the daytime students will come to our campus from 9th grade, and then in that evening, they're invited to come back with their families, but we're hoping that it's even a wider event. And then the following week is when our counselors actually go into our feeder schools and make presentations about A to G, help students begin the process of course selection. And we know there's oftentimes a lot of questions with families around that process. Your student comes home with a 2-page packet and says, I've got to pick all my classes for 9th grade. And it's pretty daunting if you're a parent, especially if you're not in the school system. You're looking at all the titles and the acronyms, and it's a lot of information. So our counseling team is working in conjunction with the counseling team at Potter to actually put on a parent event on the 4th of February. So it's that Tuesday night where we'll actually host it on their site. That was something that came out of the articulation we had last month with FUESD, that maybe getting to families before they're here will have more turnout. So they'll be offering that both in English and Spanish that evening, and then we'll push our counseling team there. Theirs will be present as well, and the goal is also to be able to answer questions about course selection and the pathways we offer. We're also inviting our program leads from our site, so anyone that can be present on that evening to also answer questions, and then just kind of guide through that process before those papers are due, in the hopes that families kind of walk away feeling like they've had the answer to some of those pressing questions. Those are kind of the biggies, a lot in the month of January and February, and then before we know it, we'll be rolling into 3rd trimester, and all of those same things. The fast downhill has a bad connotation, but you feel a little bit like you're running downhill. In the second part of the year here, as we're heading towards graduation, it will be here very, very fast, which is exciting for our seniors, but also a little daunting as we're getting to the end of the year. So those are kind of our biggies as we round the corner into 2025.
Quick question, really maybe for both of you or even our student representatives. As we get closer to graduation, are we going to be having discussions again about volunteer hours, or how do we feel?
I hope we are not. One of the things that I used to gauge, or have been using this year to gauge, our volunteer hours, kind of in between checking the grand totals. Just as an example, when we had our fall back to school night, I had thrown it out to every program on campus. Send your students, we'll put a list together. Anybody that volunteers will get those community service hours. Last year, I was begging to sign community hour papers. I was wishing for a list I could make, and the difference between last year's turnout and this year's was tremendously increased. So I signed a ton of papers that night. I collected a list, and a lot of the students I spoke to who were there representing programs like ASB or ROTC said, oh no, we are keeping a list. So like ROTC is the kind of the prime example, because they do it anyway to track as part of their program, and so does AG. Any student that's in FFA, they actually track it as part of their FFA certification. And so they have all been very clear, no, we're tracking it, my teacher knows, my program lead knows, these are how many hours I have. So I've seen a shift in that. That students are just doing more of those hours, or they're showing up and being maybe more cognizant of getting those papers signed and keeping track of the hours themselves. And I've been encouraging them, get the paper signed and turn it in immediately. Don't hold on to it for 4 years. I don't even hold on to it for 8 years. My daughter lost hers over the break, thought she lost it. It was just lost in her room. But it was like 2 days of panic, because it was all of her hours that she'd lost, So encouraging them, including my own kid, to get her hours signed and turn them in, not hang on to them and wait until that paper has disappeared in the wind. So.
Another question.
Yes.
You talked, and I think we talked last time, I was at the articulation with
Yes.
Potter.
Mm-hmm.
How are we doing with articulation or just communication with Vaxedos?
Doing okay. They had a turnover in their 8th grade teacher, so they're trying to figure out who's kind of going to be in charge of bringing students this way. And but our counseling team is coordinating with their new, and I apologize, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but their new 8th grade lead, just because of their size. That's kind of been their That's been our point of contact a lot of times with who's actually doing the course requests in class with students. So it's just the turnover of it's somebody new. This year, I believe that person retired. So, but yes, Vallecillos, Pendleton as well. So we send somebody out to Mary Fay to speak with the students that are there around course selection, and they typically will join us on that Future Warrior Day as well. So it's a little further trek for them, but they do make it out here.
I can just tell you, many years ago, coming from Vallecillos straight to the high school was quite a jump.
It's big, yeah.
And really, before I even got here, a lot of anxiety related to that about small school to what we thought was a really big school.
Yeah, I believe we had 17 students from Vallecillos join us this year, so we know it's a big change for them. So, but they joined us last year for Future Warrior Day, and then we do every year go their way to do the course selection. That is something also today we confirmed. We wanted to make sure we weren't stepping on any toes with our event since we're pushing onto Potter's campus, but they also gave us permission to open it up to any of the feeder, the schools that feed to us, but that aren't necessarily associated with FUASD. So we'll assume that Vallecillos will get that same invitation as well, which would be great. Alrighty, have a good night.
Thank you. Next, we have report from board members. Does anybody want to start?
I'll just start briefly. I don't really have much to report, but I did want to say I did travel out of state for the holidays to see family and friends, and was asked by everybody how I enjoy being on the school board, and I can honestly say just what a pleasure it is to work with all of you and see what our students are accomplishing and improving, and I'm really proud to be a part of that, and just happy to share that with everybody that I run into. So thank you for all you do.
Mine's brief as well. I did not go on vacation or out of state. As a fireman, I'm either on duty or home with sick kids for the whole break. So that was a joy. But just a reminder, Eddie and I being the firemen, high winds events, just be aware of your loved ones and needs. And when you have evacuation notices, please abide by them. It's for your safety as well as ours. That's it.
Thank you, Paul. I actually was going to say the same thing. So, yeah, I think tomorrow I'll start working for 4 days in a row. I don't have anything really to say about the school district. I'm really proud of all the good work we continue to do, so thank you very much. Most of my day today was spent trying to figure out what's going on with the fires up in LA. So I think you're going to see tomorrow that was a pretty horrible scene up there. We're fortunate, at least as far as I know, that we've had very few loss of lives, so there is a little bit of blessing there. Just to kind of double down on what Paul was saying, we can work a lot better and a lot safer when we don't have human lives in the way to protect. We can concentrate on the fire problem in a much safer way once people are out of there. So my PSA is just like Paul's. If you get an evacuation order, hopefully you are prepared before that and people start evacuating early. I think most everybody saw the video of bulldozers pushing cars out of the way. Though that's necessary, that's not supposed to happen. If people, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking, but if people leave earlier and in more organized, that can be avoided and it can be safer for everybody. So if you don't already, please have one of the apps, Ready San Diego, or I think it's called San Diego Emergency Now, or the Genesis Protect app, because there are new evacuation jigsaw puzzle geographical areas. Know where yours are and be able to get an alert on your phone would be helpful. So thank you and be safe.
What were the two names again?
The two official ones are San Diego Emergency, which is through the county, and then the other one is Genesis Protect. I think Genesis is spelled funny, but there's another app out there too, but it's very good, but it's not official. So those would be the two that we recommend.
Thank you, and welcome back, everyone. I actually spent Friday, Saturday, and Monday at the soccer field during the break. It was really great seeing our soccer players take on so many different teams from just out of the county. Big congratulations to our Fallbrook girls varsity team. They played a really great final championship game versus Santana, I believe. They touched the ball really well. Mr. Walker, I envy your job, man. I know that you work late, but I just love sports. But yeah, I enjoyed being out at the field. So this weekend when I was able to, or 2 weekends ago when I was able to, showed up, and there was a lot of support, a lot of community, just enthusiasm. So that was cool to see. Fortunately, our boys fell short, 0-2, but they still played really great. Second half, they had it, but the ball just wouldn't go in. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you, firefighters, for everything that you do. Next, we have our report from the superintendent.
So this month is School Board Recognition Month. Trustees, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your dedicated public service and unwavering commitment to our district. Your leadership and decisions play a vital role in shaping the future of our students and community. Thank you for your time, effort, and passion in ensuring that every student has the opportunity to succeed. The recent high wind events in our area have not, but could in the future impact instructional programs. We have been fortunate that SDG&E has not issued a public safety power shutoff for our area during the December wind event and the high winds that we are currently experiencing. In preparation for these events, we have established robust communication and collaboration with the San Diego County Office of Education, SDG&E, North County Fire Protection District, and the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District. These partnerships are crucial in ensuring that we are well informed and responsive to any changes that may occur. We are also in constant communication with both Bonzel and Vallecito school districts. In the event of a public safety power shutoff by SDG&E, we are aware of potential impacts on mechanical operations, including telephones and climate control systems. Fortunately, most of our facilities benefit from ample natural lighting, which will aid in maintaining a conducive learning environment. When necessary, we will cancel classes and notify families as soon as possible. Again, we are fortunate that we have not had to move in that direction. To ensure that our families are prepared, here are several proactive measures. One of the most important ones is for our families to update their emergency contact information through the parent portal. There is information on the school websites and the district websites on how to do that, including videos in both English and Spanish. And our parent center is also open and is staffed with people that can assist with updating that information. Students are reminded to fully charge Chromebooks to facilitate uninterrupted learning. Regular updates are available on the district website and social media platforms. This is important because in the event of a power shutoff, our phones will not be working. So the easiest way to get updated information is through the websites and social media platforms. We encourage open discussions between parents and students to alleviate any anxiety related to these events, especially as they watch the news of what's happening in other areas. As we've seen in recent months and in other California locations, the threat of wildfires associated with these wind events is high. For this reason, we recommend, as you've already heard, for everyone to have the Alert San Diego, Genesis, and the Watch Duty apps for real-time updates on fire conditions. And as Vice President Jones and Trustee Christensen shared, families are advised to review wildfire preparation tips to ensure readiness should conditions ever escalate. We appreciate the continued support and trust from our community. The district is committed to maintaining transparent communication and addressing concerns promptly. To those communities affected by the fires in Southern California at this time, our thoughts are with you as you face the challenges brought on by these wildfires. We are deeply grateful for the bravery and dedication of our firefighters who risk their lives to protect others. To the school districts ensuring the safety and continuity of education for our students, your resilience is commendable. And to the communities enduring these trying times, your strength and unity are inspiring. Fallbrook Union High School District stands with you, offering support and solidarity as you navigate through these hardships. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have agenda items, student services. Action item, student discipline, case number 03F2425. Can you get a motion, please?
I'll move that the board approve the student discipline case number 03F2425 as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. Because this is a student discipline, student board members won't be able to vote, but we will move on with the vote for our board members. Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell's not here. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
And Caralampio votes aye. Business services. Next, we have an action item, approval of purchase with Carrier Corporation, Sigler Commercial for the installation of indoor air quality desktop display utilizing CMAS 42110-1072, number 4.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the purchase order to Carrier Corporation for the installation of indoor air quality display products utilizing CMAS 42110-1072, number 4, as presented.
I'll second.
First and second, thank you. Student board representative, Ms. Rice is not here. Ms. Hart?
Aye.
Sabino? Mr. Caralampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell is absent. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Action item number 2, annual and 5-year developer fee report 2023-24 and resolution number 07-2425, adopting the findings contained in this report.
I'll move that the board approve the annual and 5-year developer fee report 2023 to 2024 and resolution number 07-2425, adopting the findings contained in this report as presented.
And I will second.
Thank you. Student board representatives, Ms. Rice is not here. Ms. Hart?
Aye.
And Sabino's absent. Mr. Caralampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell is not present. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Thank you. Action item number 3, accept as complete and final notice of completion for Baker Electric Incorporated.
I'll move for the action item to accept as complete and file notice of completion for Baker Electric Incorporated.
I'll second, please.
Thank you. Student board representative, Ms. Hart? Oh, sorry. Any questions?
No, I just want to say, based on the numbers, under budget. So thank you for that.
I also want to say, having talked about the solar project since it was half done when I got here, thank you very much to both of you for putting up with it this long. This has been a really long time, and in a weird way, we got to the right place and we got the right vendor and happy with the product. Thank you.
Do we know when we see a report on the efficiency or what it's producing versus offsetting utilities, when that report would be?
We can see what it's producing now, and it's producing it's 400 kilowatts a day. That's at the max, and it's really neat. I'm going to start asking our superintendent to include it in the Friday letter, maybe monthly, just a report, so you're all aware of the production. And as far as the cost offset, SDG&E hasn't got the billing right yet, so I can't show that because I wanted to show something tonight, but they don't have it all figured out yet, so I will get that to you.
I'll look forward to it.
And
No rush, but I'll look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mefford. Vote. Ms. Hart?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Caralampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell is absent. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Superintendent, Human Resources, information item, revised, new, and deleted board policies and administrative regulations and exhibits.
The revised, new, and deleted board policies and administrative regulations are being presented as an information item for a first reading and will return as an action item at the next board meeting. Ongoing reviews and updates are necessary with board policies and administrative regulations. The review enables the district to ensure the policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws conform to state and federal law. The district compares its policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws with CSBA recommendations. Additionally, the review serves as a reminder to the governance team and staff of the operational principles and implementation guidelines for the district. The revised, new, and deleted board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits presented are informational items for first reading and will be placed on the next agenda for action.
Thank you. Next, we have an action item, revised, new, and deleted board policies and administrative regulation and exhibits.
I'll move that the board approve in the second reading the revised, new, and deleted board policies BP, administrative regulations AR, exhibits E, and bylaws BB as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Ms. Hart, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Caralampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell's absent. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Thank you. Action item number 3. Memorandum of Understanding MOU between the Fallbrook Union High School District and the Fallbrook High School Teachers Association, FHSTA, related to Warrior Pride Time.
I'll go ahead and motion that the board approve the MOU between the Fallbrook Union High School District and the Teachers Association related to the leave of absence, professional leave of absence as presented. Yeah, that's the wrong one. I would like to motion that the board approve the memorandum of understanding between the district and the Fallbrook Union High School Teachers Association related to Warrior Pride Time as presented.
And I will second.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a question? Can you just clarify what the MOU states, what is involved with it?
Yes, so the memorandum of understanding, we had one in place last year, which was the first year for Warrior Pride Time. We ended negotiations before the end of the year, and then we met again because we made a change to the schedule where now there are 4 days of Warrior Pride Time, where in the past it was only 3 days. So in order to capture that information, we created a new MOU this year that addresses that additional day.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Ms. Hart, how do you vote?
Aye.
Board members, Mr. Caralampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell's absent. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Thank you. Action item number 4, Memorandum of Understanding MOU between Fallbrook Union High School District and the Fallbrook High School Teachers Association, FHSTA, related to professional leave of absence.
I'll move that the board approve the memorandum of understanding between Fallbrook Union High School District and Fallbrook High School Teachers Associations related to professional leaves of absence as presented.
I'll second.
Quick question, can you also just kind of clarify what that means?
Yes, so the board passed a board policy and administrative regulation having to do with professional leave of absence, and that changed because laws changed. And once that new policy was adopted, it did not match the language in the current collective bargaining agreement, so that there isn't a discrepancy. This MOU establishes the language necessary so that the board policy actually matches the collective bargaining agreement.
Any other comments or questions? None? Student Board Representative, Ms. Hart?
Aye.
Thank you. Board members, Caralampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell's absent. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Ms. Rodarte?
Aye.
Thank you. Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted with one action. There's usually no discussion of these items prior to the time of the Board of Trustees vote on the motion unless members of the board request specific items to be discussed or deleted from the consent agenda. Action item, approval of consent agenda.
I move that the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Thank you. Student Board Representatives, Ms. Hart.
Aye.
Board members, Carolampio votes aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell's absent. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And Mr. Rodarte.
Aye.
Organizational matters. This is an appropriate place in the agenda for members of the board to request the superintendent provide further information regarding items discussed at this meeting and/or request that new items of businesses be placed on future agendas. Do we have any organizational matters?
Yeah, kind of expanding on the conversation I had earlier, I'd like to see a report for how we are tracking volunteer hours for graduation.
Would it be similar as the ones in the past where we say how many seniors and where they are with their community service hours? And how many are on track to graduate?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
I'd also like to see, I'll withdraw mine.
Anyone else? Good. Date and time of next meeting. The next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held on Wednesday, February 12th at 4:30 p.m. in the Fallbrook High School Library. Adjournment. There will be no further business to come before the board. The regular meeting of January 8th was adjourned at 6:31 by Oscar Carolampio. Thank you.